Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and they just released a massive update. Anything from trains to quality of life improvements to an updated timeline. Shocker, they did a delay for Scorched Earth by a little bit. I know no one's shocked by that, actually. And then some small tweaks that kind of give some hints as to what will be going on in Ark in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through this whole thing. If you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. Well, let's go ahead and get started. You can see that the link is up on top, and I have the code of conduct here. We'll talk about that in just a second here. Now, anyways, inside of it, you can see that this is a modded creature. They're really focusing on the cross-platform mods, but we'll talk about that in a little bit, because the big thing that you can see right here is that welcome to another edition of the Community Crunch, and they talk about pretty heavily of the concept of improving server performance inside of 2024, at least the early part of 2024. You can see that right here, they kind of talk about people are complaining all over the place because on official networks and unofficial networks, when you get like 30, 40, 50 people on a server, your server ping is like 300-400. It's wild. It's way too much. And they have a lot of optimization that they're going to have to do in order to make it a playable game. Now, you can see it right here, optimizing the server. Continued improvements throughout January. Now, I know a lot of people can be like, well, it's not enough. It has gotten way better since the release of Ark. And to be fair, it's only been about 2 months since Ark was released, a little over that. And there are some major changes that are rolling out. So just be aware of that. And that's what they're kind of looking at. And when they officially tweak their official network, usually that trickles down to unofficial networks as well. Now, the next thing that they kind of focus on is exploiting and hacking. Now, it's a major problem on official servers right now. Anything from constant duping to speed hacks to all kinds of other hacks that are going on official servers. People are basically just abusing certain things that they shouldn't be abusing. Now, there is a, you can see this right here. I don't know what they're going to actually do, but they're planning on releasing some sort of new detection. There are dupe detection methods. I don't know why they don't use them in the first place. That literally tracks like item IDs and says if it's duped, because it's going to be the same item ID, and then it just gets rid of that player and tribe. But, you know, we'll see if they actually do that. I doubt they will. But you can see that people are still reporting, and it opens up the community of code of conduct. I don't know if you know what this is, but basically you can see that this right here is a code of conduct that exists in Ark. No one ever actually reads it, but it does exist. Now, there are a lot of rules in here. I don't think many of them are actually followed, but they are in here, just so you guys know that. And then the last thing you can see right here, character and dinos network improvement and movement is a top priority, is what they're saying. And the reason that that's an important thing is because people are lagging all over the place, and it's like you're walking, but you're not actually doing anything. You're just like skipping all over the place. It's really frustrating, but at least they are acknowledging that it's a problem. In the past, they hadn't really acknowledged too much of this problem. So it seems like they're moving in the right direction instead of actually acknowledging the issues. And I'm hoping they're moving in that direction. Now, here comes the good parts, right? Because server transfer is out on the 24th of January. Now, that's a huge thing because a lot of servers and the game itself kind of died. It died really quickly. It died really hard because you were stuck on a server. Even on unofficial networks, you were stuck on one server without the ability to transfer and without the ability to use modded maps, which is one of people's favorite things to do, especially on unofficial networks. So having that server transfer up will hopefully boost the population of the game quite a bit, and it's going to encourage people to come back and play because you're not just stuck on one server with one alpha tribe. You can kind of move around and hop wherever you want to, which is a huge thing. I don't know why they didn't do this from the very beginning, but it is what it is. Now, you can see that that's their intent. And then they're also going to release, for those of you that are kind of, you know, a little more wild, they want to do some non-transfer official PvP servers, which is going to be fine. I'm okay with that, but I still like the idea of opening everything else up to transfer so people have that option. Now, here's where we get really crazy. So survival of the, I'm just going to kind of talk about both of these at the exact same time, the survival of the fittest dev kit and then the dev kit update. There is a massive update coming out for people that use these platforms. Now, the survival of the fittest one, having a dev kit for this is going to be kind of crazy because that's going to probably make some games that are actually fun to play, because survival of the fittest at best is like a mediocre game mode, if you want to think of it that way, because there's a lot of room for improvement, and opening it up to fans is when you get some really crazy awesome games of the past. I don't know if you ever played StarCraft or Mario or Dota or any of those kinds of games, right? These are all fan-inspired games that kind of like curved and took their own thing with special builds and special modes and all that kind of stuff. And once you start getting that, it actually becomes a playable experience. And there's specific fun things that people add, which is a really huge addition. But this isn't even the thing that I'm excited for. The dev kit update is going to be massive. So essentially you can see this, I don't know if you've seen this, but they're going to essentially allow you to create your own game inside of Ark, which is crazy. So they're basically bringing the entire Unreal 5 engine inside of the Ark ASA crafting kit. Now, why that's cool? You can literally use Ark as your generic platform, and they've already increased and actually made a Mario-esque rampage through Crystal Isles, which is kind of cool. You can see that right there. And you can do anything with the game mode. Adjust things and change things. This is going to make mods get way more crazy, and you're going to start to see entirely new games built off of this, which is going to be really cool because there's going to be you're going to start to see blends of like this and Atlas or this in Rust or maybe non-tamables changing. Like there are going to be huge, no, I'm not good enough with this to actually start testing it, but there are going to be massive changes to the actual game itself. You can see custom main menus, host and browse your own multiplayer game sessions within your own mods, which is crazy. This kind of stuff gets released, and things like full game as a whole just changes. For example, like in Sid Meier's Civilization, right? There's so many mods that make the game more playable and change it. They add these game modes into the game. Or in like your PvP modes, like Rainbow Six Siege or Call of Duty. People adjusted game modes so much and people enjoyed them so much, or Fortnite, that they actually add them to the game and make them a part of what the game is. So finally opening up something like that with a full customizable dev kit is a huge change factor. And it's going to give a lot of people a lot of really awesome stuff. So I'm excited to see what actually shows up with this, but you know, that's me. Now, again, this is another massive update, right? This is also, the center and the Gigan Raptor are also being released. Now, there's a lot of information that you have to read about this, but if you zoom in and actually look at the stuff here, you can enlarge the image. You can see that there's a whole bunch of different stuff present for this Gigan Raptor. You'll see that you can't actually tame them in the wild, but you can steal the babies, similar to like wyverns and stuff like that, which is a huge advantage. You can see they're actually massive, right? I would say they're a little bit bigger than a tickle chicken, but it is what it is. And they also have some sort of ability to mature your babies and then detect babies in the wild, which is going to be really interesting, all things considered, because these things seem like they're going to be really strong. And again, a change of the meta, which I look forward to for people that play more. This is more of a PvE centered dino, I think. And I get excited when I see PvE centered dinos, because it's like, yeah, PvP is what it is, but you can't ever really break the Giganotosaurus as your main thing, your stegos, all these kinds of things. So adding something like this, where you kind of change the PvE meta, is what a lot of people really appreciate. And I'm excited to see what they actually roll with it. Now, the negative thing is, I know no one is shocked by this, but they actually pushed back kind of sneakily another map with this, but you know, we'll talk about that in a second. But the end of February, so they still haven't released an official release date. I got a feeling it's going to be more March timeframe. But this Gigan Raptor is going to be released on the center. I don't know if that means it's also going to be released on the island yet. I think it's going to be specific to the center, but we'll see. I'm not totally sure. And yeah, if you haven't played the center before, it's one of the most fantastic maps. So if they've actually redone this, this is going to be really awesome. It really is. And I look forward to just seeing in general what they've kind of updated and changed about this, the center map, because the center needed some serious TLC, and I hope they provided that with it. Now, this is where we get crazy again. Scorched Earth, again, pushed back to April 1st. Nobody is shocked by that, and I hope that that's understood why, because they do have a lot coming. Now, this is why I say I'm not too pissed about that, right? You can see that they say, here's your shenanigans. We know about this. We know about the Phasilosuchus. We know about the Frontier Adventure Pack. However, the one thing we didn't know, they're adding trains. Are you kidding me? Trains are getting added to Ark. I think that is going to be, like, we're talking Minecraft level of excitement for me, because you see trains and you're like, oh, I can transport things. I can move things. I think that there's going to be a big problem with it, because it's going to certainly open up some negatives. But train tracks that crisscross, and then you can literally make your own train in order to bring it on to Ark. That's going to be super cool. Like, those are the kinds of game-changing things that I get excited for. And then you add that kind of stuff, and it's a whole wrap up of change of the meta. And that's what people like about Ark, right? People really enjoyed when you were playing this game and it would just be like one thing would come in and everyone would freak out and figure out how to adjust it. And then it'd become part of the game, it'd become part of the meta, and it'd slowly sink in. And then a week later, they'd release something else. You'd be like, oh my God, what do I do with this now? And then everyone sinks in. And adding stuff like this kind of changes the meta and makes everyone freak out. And I love it. I'm stoked for this. Trains, Frontier Adventure Pack, new dinos, new maps, all that stuff, stoked. Can't say I'm stoked enough. Now, the other thing that I'm stoked for is, I don't know if you guys played the Winter Wonderland, because it was crazy. Completely redone, new dinos, new things, new metas, new things you could do, and it just changed the way that Ark is played. They say they're planning on, with all events they have with the Love Evolved, Excellent Adventure, to have adjustments in making these mini games that exist inside of the game, and I am stoked for that, because that really makes it a lot of fun. Some of the stuff that you can add into Ark using these is just wild. So I'm really excited to see what they're doing with that. You can see that it's opening up PlayStation in Japan in January, which is kind of cool. The more players, the happier I am. And then Mod Spotlight. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's some pretty cool stuff in here. It's on YouTube. It's pretty neat. You can kind of go through the entire thing, and then you can see like the color sets, all of that, whatever you want. There's a lot of really neat stuff that is present inside of that mod. The mod showcase. Now, I don't know if you've played some of the mods. I do have a lot of reviews of them, but there's some really cool stuff that exists. Now, you can also see that these are the mods that they had in there. A lot of cool things. Marnie Mods has been something awesome in the past. And then this was made in the Extra Life, which is just a really cool thing. I hope they add this to Aberration. I don't know if they will, but it certainly gives some sort of hope that they'll add some unique kind of cute, fluffy creature like this. It makes me excited. Now, the last thing, some community content. Mr. Mule is awesome. And I haven't seen this guy before, but his builds are really cool. And then all of your lovely photos. So anyways, a lot of really cool stuff that just got released. Hopefully you're getting excited, because Ark definitely needs to change. And a lot of the things that I mentioned here are going to make Ark more popular again, because it was definitely dying. It really was. And then adding all of the stuff that they just talked about here is a huge advantage. So hopefully this is something that you're excited for. And if you don't mind, smack that like button, leave a comment below, and then consider subbing the channel for some more Ark content. All right, Teach.